Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Friday, May 17th, around 9 p.m. Mountain Time 2024. A long duration M7.2 solar flare from newly assigned active region 3685 produced a coronal mass ejection. We also are currently in a G1 geomagnetic storm, G2 earlier, geomagnetic storm for the last 9 hours after an interplanetary shockwave hit Earth. That means there is a chance for aurora once the sun sets. Keep calm, it's boom time. The big story, at least 7 dead after hurricane-force winds pound Houston as power outages persist amid rising temperatures. Power could be out for weeks here, and at least 7 people were killed in the Houston area on Thursday as a destructive complex of storms with winds up to 100 miles per hour tore through the area, triggering power outages that could stretch for weeks amid soaring temperatures. The death toll rose Friday evening from the 4 fatalities officials reported earlier in the day. More than 900,000 homes and businesses lost their power in Houston's Harris County alone during the peak of the storm's violent winds, and nearly 600,000 remain in the dark Friday evening, according to Power Outage US. Let's take a look. This was earlier today, 783,000 in Texas, 109 in Louisiana. Let's refresh this and see where we're at. Still over 500,000 without power in Texas. Some of those could be out for weeks. Here is some video footage from the violent storms.
Inside a building, and you're hearing that. You see that debris moving too? These brutal winds, they battered the Wells Fargo Plaza in downtown Houston. They were strong enough to loft debris through the streets of the largest city in the state. I mean, this complex, it's almost seemed to intensify as they push through toward the east end of Houston. Widespread damage around downtown Houston being reported. One building, a local bar, the Conejo Malo, had significant damage. Part of the brick wall, in fact, collapsed. You see it there. Now there's just a gaping hole where the wall once stood. And high-rise buildings, boy, these were damaged too. These scenes reminiscent of a hurricane. Those destructive winds blowing out windows with glass littering the streets. Doppler radar detected about 100 miles per hour worth of winds around 450 feet above the surface. And at 1,800 feet, winds were measured at about 120 miles per hour. That's incredible. And people in Houston last night trying to get home, they were asked not to drive through the downtown area due to debris, not to mention the traffic lights were out too.
So tragic turn of events in Houston yesterday. Our hearts and prayers go out to those affected. Severe storms bring large hail and damaging winds to Oklahoma the day before. And we told you about some of this record hail, but I did not have video. Take a look at this.
God, this the whole thing. It just won't stop.
Holy macaroni. Put those helmets on. Potential for strong to severe storms in eastern Nebraska Sunday, which could be your fun day. It's also Atlantic hurricane season. It kicks off in May, just about May 15th, mid-May, and then we're right off to the races. Currently, 2 developing systems in the eastern Pacific popping up today. Disturbance number 1, 20% chance of cyclone formation in 48 hours. And disturbance number 2, 0% chance. So, game is on, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the full forecast. Another round of heavy rainfall and severe storms impacting the southern U.S. today. While Texas may see a break in the active weather today, the central and eastern Gulf Coast states aren't out of the woods just yet. Additional strong to severe thunderstorms and an excessive rainfall threat is possible across portions of the southern U.S. this afternoon into the evening. Strong storms will also be possible in the northern Great Plains. And click on your county for more information. Flood watches in green. Quick look over at the GFS shows quite a moist eastern half of the U.S. for the next 3 to 6 hours as more severe weather will explode over the southeast tomorrow morning and then across South Florida by the end of the weekend. And by that time, we should see some clearing on the East Coast, which is good news. Let's take a look at the total snowfall and see if winter is over yet. No, there is more snow coming, folks, and no one is bumming, except Al Gore. Shut up, Al! Get in your hole! Al says it doesn't snow anymore. Seismic update, no quakes of note, pretty quiet across the western front. Most recent quake here, 5.0 in the South Sandwich Islands. Nothing really of note. We did have some uptick in activity in Hawaii, waiting for an imminent eruption there. Worldwide volcano news. Ibu volcano alert status increased to level 4 after a series of sustained above average explosions. The decision was made to raise the volcano's alert level from 3 to level 4 on the 16th of May. Sabancaya puffing, Liwotololo as well, 700-foot puff today. Fuego to 15, Popo to 19. Concepcion volcano had a volcanic ash advisory today. Suanos Hima puffing to 5,000 feet. Take a look. Ducono, ash-laden Vulcanian explosions continue above the palm trees there. And Fuego to 15, Sabancaya to 24, Samaru to 15. And that is going to wrap it up. Nothing exciting today. Normal activity worldwide. Solar flares pose a risk to the U.S. power grid. Well, I guess they just got the memo. A quick look at space weather shows we are currently in G1, G2, right around there, geomagnetic storm. Could be lingering for a bit. Let's take a quick look at the Discover solar wind. Where is it at? There it is. You could see that passage of that shock front right here. And it doesn't look like any more additional activity as the BZ is going quiet. So this geomagnetic storm is over. Just another few hours maybe for potential aurora viewing up in the northern latitudes. Let's take a look at today's flare activity. And there you can see the long duration M7.2 from the newly assigned active region 3685. The CMA update from SolarHam imagery shows a CME leaving the sun following the long duration M7.2 solar flare event this evening. None of the solar wind models currently have this CME up on it, so stay tuned for tomorrow's update for more information. And I want to thank all those people that came over to Oppenheimer Ranch Project on X at Diamond the Dave. We hit 10,000 followers the other day. We're now at 10,065. And if you follow us on X all day, you'll get the breaking news. Some of it we don't even cover on the show, but almost all the articles we cover on the show, we put up here on our X first. And if you didn't know, another array of Starlink satellites was launched. Falcon 9 launching 23 Starlinks into orbit just an hour before the show started.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition, and liftoff of Starlink 659. Go Falcon, go Starlink.
So this mission was successful. The first stage landed successfully as well. And just some fantastic stuff we're doing up in space. So check it out. Yeah, and we'll link you to the full launch sequence here over at SpaceX. A wild discovery suggests a warp drive is possible with known physics. Well, if you know about Ashton Forbes and the MX370 controversy, he is now talking about like new hidden technology from the masses, and he's talking about warp drives. And this Science Alert article confirms that warp drive is possible with the known physics. You don't need to hide anything, and that is quite fantastic. You see, one of the most significant barriers keeping humanity from faraway places in the universe is the speed limit. But if we had something like Star Trek's warp drive, we could literally go anywhere in an instant. Science fiction is becoming science reality. Earth's magnetic field nearly collapsed 600 million years ago. Then, weird and complex life evolved, the Cambrian Explosion. And a new study suggests it's the solar radiation reaching Earth when the magnetic field weakened that caused this explosion. Isn't that fascinating? That's exactly what Leah and I's position is, been for years. that the way species evolve is through cosmic radiation during magnetic excursions. And this may be confirmed by a new study. Stay tuned for updates. We'll definitely cover this on our radio show on a coming weekend. High levels of weed killer found in more than half of sperm samples, a new study finds. Well, that is brilliant. With fertility levels falling off a cliff and birth rates dropping like never before, glyphosate has now been found in samples from a French infertility clinic, raising questions about the controversial chemical's impact on fertility. What do we know about glyphosate? It's called Roundup. It's created by Monsanto Bayer. It is carcinogenic, and it's on all of our food products, even organic. It's absolutely disgusting. We need to end this nightmare. We need to stop spending trillions on plant food and actually tackle the real problems. Did you know a plague comes before the fall? Lessons from Roman history. A great article here. We're going to link you below from the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists. What do they know? What is coming? The State Department issues worldwide caution alert for Americans overseas. The U.S. State Department alert cited the potential for terrorist attacks, demonstrations, and violent actions against American citizens, including, but not limited to, death. You guys remember back in March of 2020 when silver dropped below $13 and I told you to buy now? Well, if you did, good job. Silver at an all-time high for the last, I think, around 5 years at 31.73. Absolutely amazing. Gold is literally at its all-time high ever. Closing today at $2,427. How do you like them apples? Tomorrow is the 44th anniversary of the Mount St. Helens eruption, which tragically killed a number of people on the mountain. The eruption was preceded by a 2-month series of earthquakes and steam venting episodes, which allowed many people to move out of the region. Unfortunately, some stayed, and it cost them their life. Lee and I are going to break it all down on our radio show tomorrow, Revolution Radio in Studio B, right here, 12 noon Mountain Time. If you missed the radio show, we rebroadcast on our other YouTube channel, Magnetic Reversal News, 8 p.m. Mountain Time. And that's a boom to knowledge. Please share this video as we are shadow banned. We need your help to grow. Become a Patreon, support the work we do, and watch all of our podcasts in one place, commercial free. Be safe. We love you. That's a boom.